Rogue agent neutralized nearby. Rogue explosive seeker mine detected. Rogue agent neutralized. Nearby rogue agent killed. Rogue agent eliminated. Rogue agent no.
I can't move!
Rogue defender drone detected. Rogue agent eliminated. Rogue hive detected. Rogue explosive seeker mine detected. Proximity coverage complete. Rogue agent nearby. An agent needs assistance. Rogue explosive seeker mine detected. Rogue hunt detected nearby. I've detected. Detected. Rogue restorer hive detected. Rogue agent. Rogue agent eliminated. Rogue agent.
What was that?
I'm stuck! Right here! Targeting enemy.
Let's see how they like this.
Look around them!
Detected contaminated gear.
Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today we are back with another really exciting build video. I'm super excited to bring you guys this one because I've never really done a dedicated solo build, but this is the time and now is the place. This is a solo build primarily made for the Dark Zone, one that can not only go up against other players, but can clear landmarks super effectively. It's built for any and every aspect of the Dark Zone. I think you guys are going to love this one for a variety of reasons. It has a lot of weapon damage, 2 very powerful damage procs to work around, the perfect amount of survivability, an incredible heal, and a little trick up your sleeve to enact on other players and NPCs. As I'm sure you saw in the footage, that trick is the Riot Foam. It's an incredibly handy tool to have as a solo player, especially in a Dark Zone focused build, because it means you can stun and trap anyone who tries to pull up on you or jump you. I can't tell you how many times someone's tried to shoot me in the back and I've quickly turned around and rooted them, and then they're dead because most of the time people kind of panic when they get foamed. They don't know whether to keep shooting or to try and break free, and in that moment of indecision is when you strike. And your high weapon damage usually means you'll put down even a tanky player, since you can easily hit headshots and take advantage of that damage multiplier. And since you have a super strong heal, it allows you to stand your ground and fight even against teams. And if you can get skillful enough with the foam launcher, it can be used to shut down whole teams trying to get an easy kill on you. It's honestly super potent. I just wanted to clarify that in some of the clips during the video, you might see that I'm in a team, and yes, that's just because obviously anything works well and better in a team, and I just wanted to bring you guys all the footage that I could, but the majority of the clips are solo, and trust me, this is built specifically for solo play. All set? Let's get right into it. Alright, so hopping right into it, there's one clarification that I want to make off the bat, and that's that in some of the clips you might have seen that I was using a healing drone instead of a hive, and that's just because that was the original way I was trying to build out, because honestly I was kind of tired of using a healing hive since that's kind of the only meta heal to use, but the only problem I had with this was that even I was at 4 skill tiers at that point, not even 3 like I have it now, and it still just wasn't healing enough. And just because it's an overtime heal, it can't sustain you well enough in firefights, and so I switched to the healing hive. And it's, even though I'm at tier 3 instead of 4, this thing heals me for over 200k per charge because I have 71% incoming repair total on the build. And so this is just a super strong heal. And I'll show you another reason why we should be at skill tier 3. But let's just, now that's out of the way and you understand that, let's start with the guns. I have the Savage Wolverine here. Now originally, I was trying this out with a regular Honey Badger that had reformed. That's why I was trying out the drone. But with what the Savage Wolverine gives you is perfectly close and personal, which is that killing a target within 7 meters grants 38% weapon damage for 10 seconds. Now obviously that's a ton of damage, and this is one of those 2 damage procs that I was talking about. If you can get a kill within 7 meters, then you're going to get that insane damage buff for that 10 seconds. So you're not going to get this proc all the time. It's just not going to happen. You're not always going to be killing people within 7 meters. But what this does is that when you do get it, it boosts you up a ton, and you don't really need reformation when you're using a healing hive, because like I said, you're already past 200k per charge, and that's only, what, a little over 4 charges to get you to max armor. So when you are using the Savage Wolverine, you can just get that really nice damage boost when you do get that kill within 7 meters. If you want to use a regular Honey Badger or another AR and use Reformed or some other talent, you could, but I definitely recommend this because it can be super helpful. Let's jump over my crit here quickly just so you can see, and yes, it is going to look a little low on the crit damage, and that's just because a lot of my rolls are pretty low, and even though they are that way, this build already performs super well. So when I get my crit up to 90%, I think is what it'll be close to when I get everything maxed out, it's still performing this well already. The crit chance might go down slightly because I might switch one crit chance roll, but overall you should have about 45 crit chance and 80 or 90 crit damage, and it's going to be performing really nicely. Moving on to my secondary, we have the Baker's Dozen, of course, which is kind of the meta option, not much to explain there. And this is my sidearm, the Orbit. If you haven't seen my video on it, I'll link it at the top. The Orbit is an insane gun. The talent is called Perfect Finisher. Swapping from this weapon within 10 seconds of killing an enemy grants 35% crit chance and 40% crit damage for 15 seconds. Now, yeah, obviously that's an insane amount of crit, and this is that second damage proc I was telling you about. Here's what I like to do with this build. Once I get an enemy low, like if I'm doing a landmark and there's players nearby, or if there's players, because this does proc off of players, you can choose to either kill them with your Savage Wolverine up close to get that almost 40% weapon damage, or to kill them with your Orbit and get this insane crit chance and crit damage boost. It just buffs up your build a ton, and it gives you options for how you could buff yourself up in different situations to give you an advantage. And the nice thing about Finisher is that you have 10 seconds of a grace period after you kill the enemy to swap back to your primary. So if you're trying to kill an ad and then run up to a group of players to either go rogue or fight them or whatever, you can wait 10 seconds or 9 seconds and then swap back to your primary, and then you get a 15-second period of that insane boost. So yeah, I highly recommend the Orbit, and you guys should definitely try it and check out my video on it for more details so you can see all about that. Moving on to my gear, my mask is a Seska to give the 10% crit chance one-piece brand bonus. I have weapon damage, and crit chance on there, and yeah, you can see my crit damage is a little low. That's one of the areas, like I said, across the build, my crit damage is a bit low, but it still performs super well, so I would try and get that maxed out if you can. I have an incoming repair mod here, and you are going to want to get those on each of your 3 mod slots. That's how your hive is going to be healing you for over 200k per charge. It's super strong. Moving on to my chest, I have one-piece RNK, which is giving me an additional 15% incoming repairs for the brand bonus. Then I have one skill tier here, 10.5 crit damage, headshot damage, which I would definitely rather have crit chance or skill repair. If you can get either one of those, that works. I just haven't gotten a perfect chest piece yet. And then another 19.8 incoming repair mod and Unbreakable, which is definitely the talent I would recommend. You could try something else, but Unbreakable is just really nice, especially for a solo player. I would, yeah, definitely recommend Unbreakable. Moving on to the holster, we have one-piece Hannah U. giving 10% skill haste, and that's going to help with the Riot Foam cooldowns. And then I have weapon damage on there, crit chance, and repair skills. This holster is not super good. I would definitely want maxed out repair skills, and I would definitely swap that crit chance for crit damage. That way you can just boost it up a lot and get it to that 80 or 90% value that I was telling you about. Moving on to the backpack, we have one piece Gila, which is really nice for an extra 5% total armor. If you're running one blue that's maxed out and that, you're going to get over 950k armor total, and it's just a really nice bonus to have. On here I have crit damage, repair skills, and other incoming repair mod. And here's what's really nice. The Talent Companion, I hadn't tried it out a lot. I was using Concussion on a lot of my builds, but Companion is super nice because it's when you're within 5 meters of an ally or skill, total weapon damage is increased by 15%. And so if you drop your hive down, that's going to heal you up an insane amount like we already talked about, and you're within 5 meters of it and you just stay and fight there, you're going to get an extra, basically an extra red roll on your build. You're getting an extra 15% weapon damage. It's just another option to buff yourself up even more and hold out against other players and stand your ground and really put them down with the Riot Foam and the combination of this and everything. It just adds another layer onto how this build can really perform super well as a solo player. I 100% recommend Companion. It's just really nice to run. This is what I tried with the healing drone like I was talking about, and it is nice with the healing drone because you can move around yourself and the drone will follow you, so you always get Companion. You are a bit more stationary when you're using the healing hive, but again, the healing hive just is so much more viable and potent for heals that I would definitely recommend doing that over the drone. Moving on to my gloves, we have one piece Fenris, of course, to get the 10% AR damage. We have maxed out weapon damage, crit chance, and repair skills. Not much to say there. And then my knee pads are one piece Alps to get 15% repair skills, 1 skill tier, 20% repair skills, and 11.1 weapon damage. Again, those are the rolls I would want there. Obviously maxed out crit damage, but yeah, that's all to say on that. And let's take one more look at the healing hive since I talked about it at the beginning, but if we go over to my stats and down to the armor section, I have 71.8 incoming repair. And so even though on this value I have 120% or 120k PvP healing, it's going up past 200k for incoming repairs. It's just a super nice option as a solo player, and it's really going to keep you alive in those intense firefights. Moving on to take a look at the Riot Foam launcher, it has 5 ammo charges at a cooldown of 25.6 seconds. That's being reduced a bit by that Hand U piece, and so that's definitely a nice run to have. And here's why it's nice to run, because originally when I did this build I had 4 skill tiers total. I had a skill tier on the holster as well, but when you look at the chem launcher doesn't really matter at all for getting leveled up because people can just hold X and break out of it regardless, right? NPCs can't, but players can. And so, but if you look at tier 4, you're not gaining any extra ammo with it. For some reason, it goes from tier 1, you get 1, tier 2, you get 2, 3, 3, and then 4, you still are at 3. At tier 5, you have 4 ammo, but there's really no reason to go to 4. So I would definitely recommend you stay at 3 because that's going to give you those extra ammo charges, but really you're not wanting to waste and go into 4 to get ensnare health, duration, and radius. That's not going to help you a lot against players when they can break out of it anyway. So I would definitely stay at tier 3, and that's going to allow you to get that extra weapon damage roll on your holster. And lastly, I am using the Technician Specialization. That's how I'm getting that extra skill tier so I can run that weapon damage down here. And what's really nice about the Technician is that you get the perk that allows you to get bonus armor when you're aiming a skill. So whenever you're standing within your hive, getting that companion proc for extra damage, you can pull out your Riot Foam to shoot at a player and you get an extra bit of grace on your armor. You get 15% extra, and it's just a really nice bonus to be able to use, and it really just synergizes well, just like the whole build. It gives you a lot of options and a lot of utility. So that's going to do it for the overview of the build, guys. I'm super happy with how this turned out. Like you saw, it has a wide variety of tools at your disposal and several talents and perks to be aware of for you to try and proc to buff yourself up immensely. It's really fun to run around and can stand its ground even against some of the pretty meta builds. So I hope you guys can get as much use out of it as I have. If you watched up until now, thank you so much for doing so. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you can be updated every time I upload. Leave any thoughts or questions about the build down in the comments below. I'd love to hear anything you guys have to say about it. Until the next one, guys, RogueGold out.